Here we go. Hey, everybody. All right. Well, that didn't work. I'm back, and hopefully you can hear me. Hey, everybody. So today's show is about ecotourism, and we're very excited to talk about it because it's something that we come into communication with all of the time. And we talk to a lot of our friends. They're going, "I'm going to go overseas. I think I'm going to go ride an elephant." And we say, "No." Our friend says, "I'm going to go to Copenhagen. I'm going to go to the zoo." We say, "No." Why do we have these reactions? Well, we have these reactions because animal exploitation used in ecotourism is still a problem, but it's a problem that you can change. You can change just by becoming educated, making different ethical choices. Now, the reason I say that is because very often these things are hidden in different countries we go to. There's brochures. You can get a brochure of elephant riding. As a matter of fact, in certain places you go, like Phuket and other areas, there's nothing but elephant riding brochures. But there are so many groups working on it. Now, here's why we want to talk about ecotourism today. It is a $216 billion industry. That was 2023. It's expected to grow over 30% within the next year or two. So just imagine $216 billion of money that shows how much people love nature. They love nature. Think about anywhere you want to travel. The Caribbean islands, think about Thailand, think about Australia, even think about America, Canada, everything. All you imagine is suddenly the picturesque, beautiful place you want to go. You know, whether it's the top of a mountain, the middle of a forest, anywhere you are. And that is our concept, and that's why we travel. We don't travel to go, to another store. Like, there's aspects of the world that are the same that are totally boring, you know. And we don't travel for that. You're not going to buy a ticket to go to England to see what a store looks like. It's ridiculous. That's just a thing people do to pass time. What you're going to go there for is you're going to go there for Big Ben. You're going to go there for whatever. Hopefully not the London Zoo. And again, we'll talk about zoos here in a minute. And I'd like to hear your opinion, because actually I've been having an amazing conversation with a friend of mine who is on the opposite side of thinking when it comes to captivity. And we're debating right now, do zoos have a positive role to play in the future of animals? So anyway, think about this: $216 billion a year spent on ecotourism. And you, as an educated consumer making ethical choices, can change how animals live. And we wanted to focus in to tell you, we get to travel a lot, which is a huge blessing. And here, today we wanted to talk about one of our absolute favorite, coolest animals we've seen around the world: elephants. They are absolutely amazing. Here's one of the babies. Now, this baby was rescued, and this baby is with a nanny, not the natural mom, because babies are ripped from their mothers and sold, like the way they would be in factory farms, like how they rip out calves to create milk production. Same kind of cruelty, but this is elephants being ripped from the mothers and being set on because everybody wants a selfie with a cute baby. And that is terrible. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. How do you know you're making an ethical choice? What is ecotourism? Honestly, there's so many different models, and we've been to different places that have it. For example, Costa Rica has preserved over 33% of their national forestry, which means people go there purely for that reason or to surf. I went to surf. That was my main reason. And then I found out, 40 minutes, you can be in the middle of the jungle learning about sloths and other animals. Not taking sloth selfies, my friends. I have bad news. Sloth selfies kill sloths. So that's ecotourism. Hint number one: be very careful when you're traveling. Please never get near a sloth or touch a sloth. Please don't take sloth selfies. The interaction with people stresses them out so badly. They often die from it. It's terrible. You couldn't be a more vulnerable creature on Earth. So we have to take care of them. And that's one thing we can do. It's very disappointing because it's all presented as, isn't this wonderful? But in reality, it's not. Now, ecotourism can take place in the countries you go, and it can take place at home. Um, so, for example, right now, we're just getting back. We had the great fortune last year to be in England, Thailand, and Africa, and here in America. Now, let's just talk about animal involvement, animal exploitation within the ecotourism industry. Excuse me. In Africa, they take the approach that an alive animal is worth more than a dead one. So although they have poachers and although they have poaching problems, like every country does, they determine to try to leave the Serengeti and Ngorongoro, Mkomazi, and a lot of the other national parks. They have a lot of national parks in order to save these animals. In the Congo, and unfortunately, the Congo is a very unstable place. We have some friends that currently were in Goma that was raided, and another friend was saying, "Gosh, this is very dangerous. What about these gorillas that are up in the mountains in Congo? Will they survive?" And that's another aspect we have to think about. But Africa as a whole, and I was mentioning parks in Tanzania where we were, but Africa as a whole decides, let's give people to nature. We're going to take you in our Land Cruiser. We're going to go out and we're going to see nature, and we're going to bring you guys home. You're not allowed to get out of the Land Cruiser because a variety of reasons. If you're going to be around dangerous animals like lions, mountain lions, tigers, cheetahs, elephants. Elephants can be very dangerous. In Africa, they're extremely dangerous if they bother with you because they're wild. They're not habituated to people, which is awesome. So people go to see African elephants as they are. And oh my gosh, everybody, it was incredible to see, especially after coming from Thailand. Now, Thailand, we love Thailand. Thailand is incredibly beautiful. The people that are there are amazing, and they're so kind, but not always kind to elephants, and that is a traditional issue. When you think about it, if you have a tradition, things change over time, and new information becomes available. So what was once okay becomes considered cruel later. Once new information comes to light. So elephants have been used in Thailand forever in war. They were used in battles. They've been used for logging. So they're the national animal of the country, right? They're on the water. They're on many of the seals of the provinces that you go to. They're almost on every building that you look. People go, they buy elephant pants. You always see the tourists come back with the elephant pants from Thailand. So you have an old industry of elephant exploitation, and that generally is about shows. There's two aspects. There's shows and there's logging. Now, once they're used for shows, people will go and buy tickets so they can take a selfie with an elephant. They can watch the elephant paint. They can watch the elephant play darts, play soccer. I know it sounds absurd, but it's true. It's an intense thing, and it's the old school of cruelty. And okay, just here's an overarching concept that I'd like to share with everybody and see what you think. Our determination as a culture and as a human species of what's acceptable cruelty-wise changes. And a great example were the preemies that were born in the beginning of, say, the 1900s. They'd be put in these containers that are, like they have today, to try to keep them with oxygen, keep them safe from pollution. But they would be put on display in Atlantic City on their boardwalk. And people would pay money to go in there and watch these babies that are struggling to survive now and watch the nurses take care of them. Disturbing. But 1900s, you got to think these people were very uneducated for the most part. Coming out of the Wild West, which was sort of a toothless, uneducated free-for-all, not the most shining moment, say, in our history. So we did that, and then we determined, that is cruel. Forget that. And that stopped. Same thing with freak shows, calling people freaks and making them have a living in a sideshow. Now they can choose that profession. But in the 1920s, people that were born with deformities didn't have any options of jobs because they were just considered freaks. So they had to go into the circus for the most part, or starve, whatever. That cruelty stopped, and you don't hear freak shows. Freak show. I mean, there of course there's some, but it's not an exploitation of freaks because we decided as a culture that that was wrong. Now, as Thailand had all these things, it progressed. It said, no, we don't want to use elephants like this, but we will use them for entertainment because they're wonderful. And we've been with them for thousands of years, so we're very attached to them. But they also use them for logging and hard labor. So that and some people think that that is okay. We were able to go undercover and go into an illegal logging camp in Thailand, and we're going to be sharing the footage with everybody in our documentary coming up called Keystone. But you should see what they go through before you make a decision. I would just say that. So you've got this change of, by the way, elephants are considered transportation in Thailand. They're actually registered, they're chipped, and it's like you would buy a car, you get a title transfer. Now, in the old way of thinking in Thailand, they would, in order for an elephant, because wild elephants will kill you if you get near them. That's just the deal. They're not meant to be near. We shouldn't be near them. We're not supposed to be near them. Now, you got the wild elephants will just kill you. So what happened is the Thai elephant, they said, you know what, we're going to beat you mercilessly and torture you as a baby until your will is literally broken. That's the whole point of it. Then you can be controlled by cruel instruments like bull hooks and other things. And that is what every single elephant that is on display goes through, whether they work in logging, whether they work in entertainment. So now you have a bunch of consumers that have found that and said, you know what, we're not comfortable going and riding elephants. We know that it injures them permanently. They can't carry loads all the time. We know that. And here's something that a lot of people don't know. You guys will find interesting. When an elephant kills somebody, and generally elephants kill people at least once a month, if not once a week in Thailand, due to us really shouldn't be abusing them and taking care of them the way that we do. So as a result, many people die, mostly mahouts, which are the people that take care of the elephants. But an elephant that kills somebody, say at an amusement park or whatever, the tourist that gets killed at the elephant stand, what happens? In Thailand, you're not allowed to kill an elephant. Elephants have to die naturally, which means if an elephant kills somebody, they will either rename it, and then that problem is solved, or they will sell it, and it gets renamed. And often they're used for trekking. Some of the owners don't even tell the history of the elephants. Nobody cares. So people that are on treks, maybe on an elephant that just killed somebody last week, not knowing their lives are in danger, not knowing they're putting their family's lives in danger. So you have a danger element. You have the injury it can do to the elephant. You have the psychological damage to the elephant. And all of this is really important because Asian elephants, they haven't tested African elephants, but Asian elephants were proven to be sentient. That means they know, they're self-aware. They know what they're going through. They're aware of their situation at all moments, just like you and I. So an elephant is pulled from his mother. So that would be like a human being pulled from their mother and beaten mercilessly until we comply and then being put out to perform shows every day. And if you don't perform enough shows, you get beaten more. That's the life of an elephant in captivity. Now, that's that side. Now, the good side of it are sanctuaries, and there's so many ethical sanctuaries. This is where ecotourism comes in. So if we know that elephants are sentient, and we know they're horribly mistreated, and we also know that it's a shell game because they have to die naturally. This is all in Thailand we're talking about right now. We know that the most important thing that all of you backpackers can do and all of you people that are traveling with your kids out to Thailand can do is choose ethical experiences with elephants. Do not ride elephants. No trekking. Never ride an elephant. Do not do any activity that involves touching elephants. You should never touch elephants. You should not bathe elephants. You should not be around them unless you're observing them from a distance. And maybe that's not the fantasy experience you wanted with your elephant, but you know what? They're here to survive. They're not here for you. Animals don't exist for people. Animals exist for animals. Nature wasn't invented as like, oh, humans are going to find this really interesting. No, we can't. We put that on the animals. It's not natural. And this applies to tons of stuff. People riding dolphins, taking selfies with dolphins. It's absolutely cruel and horrible. And it's a practice that people are becoming more educated with. What is our battle? How do we fight this horrible cruelty of violence? Through love. The only way. It's the only thing that can combat evil. The only thing that can combat violence is love. Love for these animals, which means educate yourself. Learn about the country you're going to. What are the exhibits you're interested in? And then spend your money in the ethical places. And a place like Thailand is a great success story. So as much as it has its problems, you have amazing groups that we've worked with, like Unchained Elephants, and there's Planting Peace. There's a lot of amazing groups that are saving elephants from this captive horribleness, bringing them to sanctuaries where they can live out their days, and they can live up to 100. So, we were just lucky enough to watch a rescue and be part of this rescue of a 7-year-old elephant baby that is now going to live for, who knows, could be up to 90 some years in paradise instead of cruelty. Big thing. Now, animals that are performing for a living also include animals in zoos, because animals are self-aware. They know they're being held captive. Forgetting all the the biodiversity reasons that we need animals in nature. We'll get into that later. This is about ecotourism. This is about, where do you spend your dollar? Please don't go to the zoo. Go to a sanctuary. Sanctuaries tend to be places. Now, you got to make sure it's an ethical sanctuary. In Thailand, because you have an ethical sanctuary where there's no riding, no touching, no trekking, no bathing. A great one is Elephant Nature Park with Lek Cheller. We got to go there. It was incredible. There's no bullhooks. There's no exploitation, and there's no interaction. We also got to go to Sambun Legacy Foundation, amazing ethical sanctuary. And then there's Bless, the Boon Lot Elephant Sanctuary in Thailand. All three of those we can vouch for and say are 100% ethical, and the shining example of what we need to change our future, which is positive sanctuaries that animals that have been mistreated and abused can go to and live out their days. Shut down all things that put animals on display for profit. Breed animals for display. This is a whole other issue, breeding, but we'll get into that at another show, because I love talking about all these things. But we're talking here again about ecotourism. How you spend your dollar can affect how animals live forever. People said, you know what, trekking is so cruel. We don't want trekking anymore. So ecotourists have decided they want ethical sanctuaries. So these trekking places are losing money like crazy, and the owners are starving. And good. They should not be making money by cruelty. So, but what they're doing is they're transforming into ethical, positive sanctuaries. Because again, what in the past was cruel was not considered cruel, is considered cruel today. Why? Education. So the more we can educate ourselves about the animals and the places we visit, the more we can spend some of that $216 billion to save animals instead of continue their anguish. Because if you tell people what you want, they'll listen. That's the best thing about tourism. That's why ecotourists may be some of the most powerful activists and advocates in the entire world. Animals need us. We need to go visit. We want to go see them, as well. Don't go to, please do never take your family to a dolphinarium, never a dolphin show, no zoos. These are all terrible ideas. If you want to see dolphins, go out on a boat because they'll always come out and they'll run with the boats. And everybody's face lights up when they see that. Or go snorkeling. You don't have to have a scuba diving license. Go snorkeling. Sierra and I love to dive, scuba dive. Go see amazing animals like that. Don't show me a puffer fish in an aquarium. Show me a puffer fish in nature. Now, one sad aspect of ecotourism is a lot of our nature is being destroyed and sold out. So it's becoming in line now with animals' needs and industry's needs for ecotourism to save the animals. So this is what we need. We need the industry that used to exploit the animals to save them. One more thing I want to talk about that I find is an amazing, bright hope spot is in the United Kingdom. Two things have happened that are beautiful. One, there are no more circuses to use elephants. Shut down. I believe they're getting rid of their elephants in zoos because, again, elephants are sentient. So anybody that goes to see an elephant in a cruel or captive situation, please understand that what you're doing is slowly killing that elephant. There's nothing okay or nice about it, and we can't make little pillows so we can all feel good about it at the end of the day. It's cruelty, and you are involved in it. So please think about what you're doing, because what you do has a ripple effect so beyond each of our movements, And we've seen it all around the world. Active change is happening for animals. It's fantastic, and we can keep it going. So the other thing is the UK does that's really innovative. Okay, so they're getting rid of their elephants, I believe, in the zoos. Now, the bad side of it is a place like Cincinnati Zoo, which is one of the worst exploiters, and actually named one of the top 10 worst zoos for animals by Mercy for Animals recently. They've built more of an elephant place and bringing in those elephants. So they are falsely creating herds and continuing the cruelty of keeping a sentient animal captive in a cage. They know they can't leave. There's nothing there for them. So now the other part the UK does, and the UK is like amazing. They have a lot to make up for. Every country, of course, has good and bad. But one thing they've done that's incredible is their tourism agencies are no longer allowed to sell tickets to any exhibit that exploits animals. So if you're in the UK and you're like, I want my daughter to take a photo with a dolphin, luckily there's enough common sense from other people that you can no longer buy that. Hopefully that'll give you an indication of why. And I hope these agents are educating people along with it, so they don't just go and do it. If you have, look, we all have participated in the youth. I remember like going to SeaWorld. We didn't know back then fully what we know now. A lot of people engage in this behavior because they just haven't had the opportunity to learn yet. So for the sake of the future, for the sake of the animals, we all know that we need to do better as ecotourists. So we're going to continue our ecotourist series, continue to talk about what aspects of ecotourism are good and bad, and how ecotourism really can save the world. So I hope you guys have a great day. Make great choices. No, I don't want to say make great choices. I was thinking about the ethics of ecotourism. Of course, you guys make great choices, as is. But check out ecotourism. Check out on your next trip. Where are you going? What's happening? What animals need help? Maybe you can go to a sanctuary and even get your kids to help at the sanctuary for a day. And maybe that will be an amazing memory you guys will have forever. So, really quick before we leave, everybody, there is so interesting side note that many people don't know about me is I'm actually how do you say? I am an official Nyabingi Rastafarian. Not that I follow that belief system fully, but so I wouldn't consider myself one, but I am within there because I went to a Nyabingi church and I had a Nyabingi elder, and for another documentary called Livicated, which is a reggae movie, I went and I really learned about Rasta Rastafarianism, and Nyabingi. So my Rasta elder, who was named Ras Pidal, who was brought over by the Smithsonian Institute to help teach Rastafarianism inside of inner cities and give children positive places to be. Um, he used to tell me that your heart will give you the best advice you need because it tells you all the time, do good, do good, do good, do good. So listen to your heart. Hi, Maria's here. Hi, Maria. Maria says, I'm shocked by the amount of people who don't know mosaic is causing cancer to the people of Florida. Absolutely. That's why we have high cancer rates here. And Maria, you are 100% right. It is amazing the level of radiation and environmental destruction that goes on. Let me put you on screen there. The environmental destruction that goes on. And this comes down to responsibility. We need the people that are being permitted all the time to become more responsible. Now we know it's impossible because never once have we seen a company just do it on their own initiatives. No CEO is like, hey, what would really be good for the environment? We just don't see that, which is why best management practices don't work. Florida has a terrible system of best management practices, which means Mosaic self-regulates itself. So we know for a fact that self-regulation leads to higher rates of cancer. That is not going to work. For anybody, including myself, who is currently in immunotherapy due to environmental cancer, not from Mosaic, but from environmental cancer. Our environment needs us. Our environment needs us. The animals need the environment, and we need the animals and the environment. And, everything needs everything. It's all symbiotic. And the problem, people always say to me, human are such a scourge on the world. Well, you know what? We may be a plague on the earth. I can see where somebody would think that. But if we are also the answer. So the only thing we can do is to listen to our hearts and make sure we do good, do good, do good. All right, everybody. It was really awesome to see everybody. Thank you, Maria, for being on the show today and bringing up that amazing point, which we're going to have some more shows on as well. And by the way, everybody, we are screening. If you're in Florida and you want to come hang out with us, we're screening at a place called Fogartyville. Yes, Fogartyville, over here on the West Coast, so Florida. So come on, join us. Check out our phosphate page, and then you can check it out. It's a free thing. We do the screenings for free. They're community screenings. They are designed as educational tools because, once again, education is the only thing that can really save us all. And so far, education has led to more ethical ecotourism. Ecotourism exists. Let's stop having tourism where people go big trophy tourism. Let's focus on ecotourism. An alive animal is worth 100 times what a dead animal is. And the exploiters don't know that, but the eco and the ethical people do. There's great sanctuaries out there. There are amazing solutions. There are wonderful ethical ways to have mind-blowing journeys and experiences out in the world. All right, everybody. It's great to see you all, and we'll see you tomorrow. Who knows? Let me know what topic you'd like to talk about. I just want to get on every day and just chat because, in my day-to-day life, if I just keep ranting and raving like I always do about conservation, everybody gets really tired of me. And maybe you could relate. Maybe you're the only one in your group that cares about this topic. So come join us and we can all talk together and we can all join the topics together and we can all be part of the solution together. All right, everybody, have a great day.